Hello, and welcome to The Connecting Point. I am Dr. Marcy, your facilitator for this platform today. The Connecting Point is where we connect with creators to inspire, share our stories and ideas, to hopefully transform the world through raw, unedited talk. And today I am joined by a dear friend of mine for many years. Oh my God, I call her one of my grown children. Zipporah Taylor. Well, I will say Zipporah Gibbs Taylor for those who know her as Gibbs. Okay, that's the same. I call her Zip to do. Zip.
Only you can.
I know it. But that's what I call her. Well, welcome to the Connecting Point, honey.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here. I'm so honored for the opportunity. And yeah, let's do it.
Well, I tell you, I have to say the connecting point here. That's the name of this platform. Well, I don't even know. I tell you, it's been some years. I don't know how many.
Probably almost 20.
Yeah, about 20 years I've been knowing. Yeah, excuse me. I'm gonna say Zip because that's what I'm used to saying.
It's okay.
But I've been knowing her a long time. She is a music educator as myself. Well, I have changed my title. I'm an integrationist.
Integrationist. Okay, I can dig it.
God changed that for me.
Yes.
But she is a vocalist. Yes. She is a mother of three handsome boys who are also musicians. Her husband is one of my dear friends. Oh my God. I love them. You know, it's intertwined. And this young lady here, one thing I remember about you is when I was carrying, was it mahogany?
Yes.
And I was still trying to conduct the chorus from the hospital room.
No, ma'am. I'm like, you're kind of busy. We got this.
So that's how long she's been there. She's, hey, I love her dearly. And also, beyond her being a vocalist, a mother, she's also someone I look to for wellness. In body, mind. We get into deep conversations sometimes about what's good for us as Black women.
That's right. You got to.
So I decided, I said, you know what, I got to have her on here to talk about wellness. So we're going to talk about wellness, period. Whether that's music, whether that's, what you're into now, the products. We'll talk more about those products.
Okay.
And words.
Amen.
And we're going to talk about that too. But anyway, Zip-de-doo, tell the people a little bit more about yourself, like where you're from.
Okay, all right.
Now.
Okay. Well, again, thank you for having me on The Connecting Point. I'm a big fan, okay? But a little bit about me. I am a native of Atlanta, Georgia, was born at Grady Hospital. I am a Grady baby.
Grady baby.
Yes, born and raised in Bankhead community, which people know as Donald Hollowell.
Yes.
But we also have a connecting point because after my childhood music teacher retired, you became the music teacher.
I became the music teacher.
I was long gone by then, but to have taught at the school that nourished me, I loved Grove Park.
That's right. I forgot about Grove Park.
Yes, it always holds a special place.
In the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood, literally. Yeah. So went to Shorter College on a vocal scholarship, started teaching for Atlanta Public Schools right out of college, and have taught at many schools. And now I am at a charter school, an APS charter. But to say that I love music is an understatement. I mean, I eat, breathe, music
we know.
in my DNA. And married to a musician, like you said, and raising musical children. They've become band heads.
Yep.
I can't imagine not having music. I mean, I was raised with it. I was first exposed to it from my mother, who would sing to me during bath time. And so that's where I learned my first hymn, Amazing Grace. My grandmother had a love for music, and she would tell me the story about how her sister wanted to be a music teacher when she was a little girl. Yes, my Aunt Reen, who passed away at a young age, passed away at 38. And she would say, Reen, I always wanted to be a music teacher. And so my grandmother started paying for me to take piano lessons when I was in first grade. And from there, when I turned 12, started taking voice lessons and, having recitals. And so, yes, my house is sometimes quiet, but at some point there's going to be somebody blowing, singing, strumming a guitar. Something's going to be going around here. And I just love it. I mean, it's just who we are.
Yes.
I don't apologize for it.
So let's since we're on music anyway, let's just talk about that. You, like myself, I live in the home with music all the time.
All the time.
And I've heard parents say, you know what, I got to deal with all that noise. For me, it's not noise. It's like a part of the fixtures. It's like the artwork that hangs on the wall.
Yes.
In my home.
Yes.
So it's not aggravating. It's soothing. As you know, my son plays a harp. So that's, I just enjoy.
Now we've had from somebody's always having to practice. So at some point, Alonzo may be practicing in one room. He might be having to record a cappella tracks using the a cappella app. And you know how many times you have to do that over and over. You may have a child blowing a horn. There's somebody else over here practicing drums. And since we've been quarantined for COVID, everything had to be done online. And so, we're teaching all day, they're in class all day. So many different aspects. But, I thank God because I started on the violin in third grade.
Yes, with Mr. Kendall. Did you have Mr.
Kendall? Yes.
Oh, let me tell you something. Mr. Kendall, bless his soul. But when I got to Grove Park, that man was like my work dad.
Yes, he was quite the mentor.
Oh, he was my work dad. And
he was a beautiful person inside and out, and a fabulous teacher and musician.
Yes. And
really
might I say, I always smelled good and looked good.
And he always drove a luxury car.
Yes, dressed to the nines, baby.
Italian leather shoes.
That was him. Mr. Charles Kendall, I still think about him.
Yes.
To this day, and the life lessons that he taught, not only about music, but when I would go through things in my personal life, he was there.
He always had a word.
He had a word, baby. He had a word for it from a male point of view.
Yes. And what can you say to have such jewels, and especially at Grove Park? Like, it wasn't just the school. Like, these people became your extended family. I am still in contact with teachers and classmates who are like family to me. But I mentioned about the violin starting off in third grade. Any parent who has ever had a child that starts on a string instrument,
that's powerful.
And it also takes patience, because there's a lot of and screeching with that bow on those strings. And my grandmother never seemed irritated. And I had that violin with me everywhere. On Friday afternoons, when we would go to the hair salon, even my hairdresser would indulge me and say that I was going to put on a concert and a recital for the ladies in the hair salon. So I am so grateful that my entire village really, really embraced me and, you know, poured into me. They supported me. They didn't care if it was at Lenox Mall during Christmas time, the West End, wherever I was performing, somebody from my village
Was there.
was going to be there. And so I appreciate that. That's what I'm doing, and others are doing for my own children. And so many times we've had to be part of that village for our students.
Oh, yes.
You know, we've had financially,
Yes.
emotionally, and for their parents, you know, providing rides, the whole nine.
The whole nine. And you know, you're talking about, as you talk about this, all of these memories keep coming back to me in my formative years as a music educator, and the things I had to do, but it didn't feel like work for me, to make sure that children had a well-rounded education that involved music.
That's right.
I knew the power of music, to the point, like you say, I put children in my car. You know, it's dangerous. I don't know if we can't even do that now.
We can't do that now,
No.
but I'm thinking about all of the years that we drop children off at home. I think about how many pairs of tights I purchased, shoes.
And doing hair, and, you know, and getting them to their rehearsals.
That's right. Honor chorus.
Oh, Lord, let's not go to honor chorus, Jesus. Oh, God.
You know how many Thursdays were spent seeing about other people's children, even before I had my own.
Yeah.
I really don't take for granted those opportunities.
Yeah,
because
me either.
Like it made me a more passionate and caring educator. And, you know, I feel like God was setting me up for my own family.
Of course he was. Listen, God doesn't do anything by happenstance. There's always a rhyme and a reason, because our stories have already been written.
That's right.
So if you're doing it, it's a reason why you're doing it. And so we're talking about music because it is so, there's a healing mechanism to music.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, we're talking about how we use it and how we've taught it, but as educators, as mothers, as human beings, music has played a very intricate part in who we are as individuals. I know, let me tell you something, Zip. When I get in my car, I'm virtual now teaching, but when I used to get in my car after a hard day's work at school, the first thing was blasting that music. And I have two different playlists. I have one, my gospels.
Yeah.
That would get me to work and get me in the right frame of mind. And then I had my other playlist that reminded me of my childhood and coming on up. That would help me release some of that I left work with. And then coming home and then teaching it privately. I can't imagine. Mahogany said, "Mama, I can't live without music." She said, "I have to have it."
I mean, it's something that you can't explain it.
Mm-mm.
And being that I grew up in the church, I mean, it's just
it's
period.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing like seeing that choir march in.
Cool. Look, from the back, go to the front, to the side, to the side.
You said, I can't wait till I'm old enough to sing in the choral ensemble. And when they say it's that one song, and when they get, oh, that's my part, or that's my song, there was something in me that I knew, like, this is what I was meant to do. I mean, I can remember being 4 years old at Berean Academy.
Oh my goodness, you were at Berean?
I went to Berean on Hightower then.
On Hightower, yes, ma'am.
What is it now?
I don't know. I haven't been over there. Is it Seventh-day Adventist?
It's Hamilton.
Seventh-day Adventist Berean is, but I don't know.
But it's when they were in the old building.
Okay.
And I would line the children up on the wall and pretend that I was directing the choir. I'm like, come on, one more time. Because we would have devotion in the morning and not knowing that one day that's what I would be doing.
Still, what about that song? Walk in the light,
You,
beauty for light
that's it. Come where the dewdrops.
of mercy, shine bright. They
Come
would
on.
put that in the hour with that song, Zip.
We looked forward to it every Christmas.
Yes, yes,
It wasn't Christmas without it.
yes.
Okay. And the male chorus singing Silent Night.
Oh, Lord. And look, that's a drop the mic moment. But you know, audience, we're just talking about this because it has played such a valuable role in our lives. And if you really think about it, where do you go anywhere in this world and you don't hear music?
Imagine a movie without music.
A commercial.
A commercial.
Going in the grocery store.
The elevator.
Thank you.
The doctor's office, even when you're on hold.
Yes, even when you're on hold, your footsteps, the birds chirping.
Everything has the cadence, the rhythm.
You know, the master creator, God himself.
The composer of it all.
Thank you. The composer of the universe had to have put music here for his glory.
Seriously.
Really? Yes. And so, you know, since we're talking about those aspects of music, let's move over now into something else that you have delved over into. I think it's been about a year or so now, hasn't it?
It has been.
Yeah.
So, you're referring to sea moss gel.
Yeah.
I was already taking sea moss gel as part of my wellness regimen. And then when COVID-19 struck and I was home, I started to make it for other people, and it just took off.
So what made you decide to take the sea moss gel? What intrigued you about it?
Well, my family always calls me an earth girl or a medicine girl or herb girl. And I love to eat foods from other cultures. Like when I go to a foreign country, yes, I like the touristy areas, but I like to also go amongst the natives. To taste the food, to see how they live. And I remember the first time Alonzo and I went to Jamaica. And this was in 2006, I think. And I remember seeing the guys pull the sea moss from the rocks.
Wow.
And when we got back home, I was telling the owner of my favorite Jamaican restaurant, you know, about some of the things that I saw when I was over there. And he was like, yeah, you know, this is what we put in the Irish moss punch, the peanut punch. And I was like, oh.
Peanut punch.
Never knew that's something that I had been drinking when I would go there. And so a couple of years later, I started to, you know, just take it for myself because it's loaded with minerals.
Can you explain that too in a minute? The minerals that are in there? Okay.
So a lot of people, and especially Black people, are deficient in minerals, especially vitamin D. The average woman, when she goes to the doctor, a lot of times the doctor will say, did you know your vitamin D levels? You've had children. And vitamin D is a very important component for our well-being. We need it, we get it from the sunlight. That's how we're able to use it properly in our body. And it helps our bones, the calcium in your teeth. It affects weight loss, everything. And, but back to sea moss, it's loaded with 92 minerals such as phosphorus, magnesium. It helps your digestive system. It helps with phlegm and mucus. Helps out. So people who have sinus issues benefit from it. To me, it helps to curb your appetite a little bit.
It does.
First thing in the morning on an empty stomach. It gives you a natural boost of energy, not like caffeine, but just a natural boost where you just overall you feel good. I'm able to just take it straight. It has a natural form of mucilage, similar to the slime that's in okra.
Oh.
Okay. Seaweed, sea moss is a sea vegetable, so it comes from the ocean. And what the harvesters do is it attaches itself to the rocks in the ocean. So that's where a lot of those minerals are coming from.
Okay.
And they clean it and let it dry, and it comes dried. And so there's a process that I go through of cleaning it, and you have to soak it, and it reconstitutes and swells up. And then from there, I do a couple of other things, and I blend it smooth, and it naturally gels. Okay, so that's why it's called sea moss gel. Yes. So you can use it as a thickener. It is vegan. So sometimes people use it in recipes where they would sometimes use different types of flour or like xanthan gum. If you want to use that, you could use the sea moss instead. You can use it on your face as a face mask. You can use it in your hair as a mask. But I blend it up and do different varieties and take it as part of my supplement regimen.
Well, you know, audience, I started taking it, and of course, Zip is my supplier. But you remember, I got the first batch, and I couldn't hardly. I said, I can't take this, and I took it and mixed it in applesauce because you told me mix it in applesauce. Yeah. When I mixed it in applesauce, I mean, it was great. I had no problem getting it down. But then you took it up a step higher. See, that's what creators do. We're always creative. So she created this elderberry sea moss gel and warm spice. And I'm a lover of cinnamon, ginger type flavors anyway. When I got both of those the first time to see which one I was gonna like, and I fell in love with the warm spice. So that's what y'all, I'm telling you, I take that in the morning. It's not bad at all.
For regulating your blood sugar.
Yeah.
Ginger is a great herb for helping if you have any kind of sinus issues, of course, with your throat. I use raw honey. A lot of people add a lot of water and such to their sea moss. I do not. And it's just, it can't hurt you. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, folks always jumping on the bandwagon with something, but this is something that I've been doing for a while. For people who have thyroid issues, if you have a low thyroid function, it will help. Now, let me give a disclaimer. I don't advise you doing anything unless you talk to your physician first, especially if you are on medications. Now, if you are taking an iodine supplement, I would suggest not doing both because sea moss has a good amount of iodine. Iodine. Okay, so if you're on a supplement for that for your thyroid, I strongly suggest that you not do both because then we're going to create some toxicity and that's bad. But it also helps for people who may be suffering with constipation. Back to that mucilage that I was talking about, it does help to lubricate your digestive tract. And a lot of people don't like to talk about having trouble going to the bathroom, but it's real.
It's real. You know, I told you I just had some surgery recently, and I said the doctor made me stop taking my supplements 2 weeks ahead, and I'm like, but I could tell the difference.
And then with pain, a lot of times pain medicines can cause you to be clogged up too. But again, drinking more water and just adding some simple things like with our diet, adding more fruits and vegetables. All of those things make a big difference and help you to age backwards.
And see, that's what we're doing. You know, people say, what y'all doing? We just trying to live healthy and live. Now, I'm going to tell you one thing. That sea moss is one thing, but living right is another.
Come on now. Come on.
You can't be doing dirt and doing people wrong and carrying on and then take a sea moss, think you're going to be right. You're not going to be right.
Eliminating a lot of the stressors that we I mean, some things we know that in this world we can't help, but then a lot of stuff, it's okay to say no, and it's
Yes,
okay to cut some things.
yes, yes.
Mm.
Well, honey, I tell you, I so appreciate you. I could just I text Zips out, look, I need my supply,
Oh, I got you.
and I go pick it up. You hear what I tell you? I'm almost ready for my next one.
I've got some beautiful purple sea moss that's full spectrum.
Ah,
So I'm gonna that's next.
yeah, it's almost time for me to come get my supply.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
yes.
Just let me know. I got you.
Yes. So, audience, listen, I'm telling you, I have been taking it. How long I've been taking it? It's been about a year too, hasn't it?
I would say about, I know you've been on it at least 10 months.
It was before we got out of for the pandemic, wasn't it?
Well, then it's been a year.
It's been about a year I've been taking it. So I'm telling you, I can tell the difference
You can.
in my overall, how I feel, you know, not to mention it helps with some of this brain stuff too.
Well, just think about it. You know, when your body has what it needs, you're able to operate at full capacity. And it's just like with our car and anything else, we have to take care of our bodies. We have to give our bodies what we need. We have to get enough rest.
Yes.
It's okay to go to bed.
Yes, it is. Yes, that's a ministry.
It is okay to rest.
Go to bed. Yes,
It's
it is.
okay to it's okay to stay at home, and it's also okay to do things that bring you joy and pleasure.
You know, we talk about that all the time.
Yes.
Now, don't let anybody judge you. You know what you need to express yourself. You know what you need. And so don't let somebody else tell you, you know, what you doing? No, this is what I need for my well-being. Yes.
And people have individual needs, and I think especially as women, we have to stop apologizing for taking care of ourselves.
Yes.
Because family, friends, the church can sometimes attempt to guilt us.
Yeah.
You try to make us feel bad for doing that, but I am a firm believer. See about yourself.
Yes. Yes.
Because the other alternative is depression, sickness, disease, and death. And death doesn't just have to be literal.
Yes.
It can be spiritual.
Death. Yeah. Yeah. You're right about it. Now, since we're talking about spiritual, we headed to another creation.
Come on.
He's a creator. That's why, listen here. I deal with creators. And to be honest with you, everybody God created is a creator because we're created in his image. Now, whether or not you tap into it,
right,
is another thing.
That's right.
Now, Zip, if you all could see, well, everybody, if you could see our shirt, we have on shirts. My shirt is says, and hers too, trust God and go on.
That's it.
Okay, now, I don't want to give too much info about this, but when she brought the idea up and when I saw what she was doing, I said, you know what, that's it. This is it. Words. Let's talk about the healing power of words and where this idea for these shirts we are wearing, where that came from, Zip.
All right. Well, I could talk about this all day, but this shirt is part of a line that I created called Granny Speaks. And Granny Speaks was developed in honor of my late grandmother, Mrs. Lizzie Kate Glenn, who passed away on December 1st, 2020 at the age of 92. And several years ago, I started creating these impromptu videos of her when she would be talking about different subjects. And my granny, to know her was to love her, and not just because she was my granny, but just her story. She was such an encourager. You know, even all the things that she had been through in her life, she always had a word for you, and not her just trying to tell you what to do or you know, trying to be all in your business. But whenever you had an encounter with her in a conversation, you always left better. So she was a firm believer in trusting God. I mean, seriously, this was her mantra my entire life. Like she said, you know, you don't know what's going to happen in this world. You don't know where you're going to be. She said, but honey, don't worry. Just trust God and go on.
And see, that's what she did. Now, she didn't delve in your business. And I take that stance as well regarding my children and anybody else. If the results are not there that I desire, or something's not going the right way, I pray. I don't try to get revenge. I don't get revenge on people. I don't do that. I don't try to make them change their minds. I don't manipulate. What I do though is I pray. And that's what Granny was doing. She was praying, then she would trust God and go on.
From things, she told me, she said, even from a young girl, she said, I would see the stumbling blocks in my way. She said, but in the spirit, I would look forward and see God literally moving things out of my way.
Yes. Good.
Just like he did for Moses and the children of Israel, when he parted the Red Sea, he made a way for them to go forth. And when she would tell me that, chills would just over me, because I say that same God that was doing those things for her and gave her that type of faith dwells within me.
Within you, yes.
So when she and I mean, she kept saying this, trust God and go on, even up until 2 days before she passed away. Like I keep trying to tell you, baby, just trust God.
And listen here, she was quoting what you were getting ready to create. Good God, listen here. See, y'all, listen, I'm trying to hold my composure because me and Zip will go there. Okay, we will. But she kept saying that. Trust God.
I mean, my granny was in hospice here at home for 14 days. And literally, I have never heard her say it so much as she said it the last 7 days. She had a couple of visitors that came by, and she'd say, well, yeah, I'm so glad you came to see me. And then she'd end by saying, well, yeah, I'm just going on. And she said, you know, in other words, honey, just trust God and go on. She said it to the preacher. She said it to a friend. She said it to the pastor's wife. I mean, she just kept saying it, and it just was ringing in my spirit. And the night that she passed away, when I realized she was gone, I lifted my hands and I said, thank you, Lord, because I knew she had beheld his face.
Yes, yes.
And I told my husband, I said, I'm heartbroken, but I've got to trust God and go on.
Good God. Woo!
She had already lived her eulogy. She had already done what thus saith the Lord. And so for me, every time I'm feeling doubtful, when I'm feeling down, when I'm feeling uncertain, I remember and I see her saying it, trust God and go on. And so that's really what I want to give people with these shirts. I also have some that say, what are you waiting on? You know, my grandmother was a stickler for like, get up, do what you need to do, get a move on. There's somebody today that's waiting because you're afraid, because you
Please don't be. Please don't be.
Because you don't see how it's possible. Don't wait.
Trust God and go on.
Trust God and go on. I literally started with her phrase. I literally started with Granny's phrase and with the faith and trust in him. And this has taken off. I use the funds to help families in need. And since we've started, we've been able to help several families, some who were displaced, some who just needed something to tide them over, some who children needed shoes, needed coats. And that was something that my grandmother was very passionate about, because when she came to Atlanta the first time in 1936, I think it was New Year's Day, and she was walking behind the wagon barefooted on the coldest day of the year. And needless to say, we never went without
a coat,
shoes.
And shoes. Yeah.
A lot, and she always gave. And so this helps me through my grieving process to know that I'm doing something good in her honor. My grandmother was a very fashionable lady.
Yes, and beautiful lady. Yeah, let me tell you something. We talking about the inner beauty of Granny, but Granny was a baby. She was a pretty lady.
Yes, even up until the end,
lady.
Still getting her up and putting on her
hats
and her clothes.
That's
even
right.
Before she passed, I had put on the stockings, her house clothes, which consisted maybe of a linen skirt and her church t-shirt and and her little apron, you know. So I wanted these shirts to not only have a positive message, first of all, as unto God and as to unto her memory and her legacy, but also to be something that's fashionable.
Yeah.
I like to look good. And as a mom of 3 boys, I like to be comfortable. As a teacher, you know, now teaching is so much different.
Yes, it is.
And these shirts are made with quality.
They are. I have one.
Yes, I've partnered with a young lady. Instead of doing a big corporate company, I wanted to partner with another creator. Women helping women as we help the world.
That's right.
You know, so we're keeping it right here in the village, and we have some other items that are going to be coming out, hats.
Yeah. Yes.
The hat, so we had to. That was thankful to Marcy for.
Well, you know what, Zip? When God tells me something, I won't forget it. I woke up that morning. I don't know what time I text you. I said, Zip, God said it's time for the hats.
Yes, yes.
So you know, I mean, I just love it. I just love how God speaks. I love how he has placed in each of us some facet of creativity.
That's right.
That we can use not only to benefit from ourselves, but most importantly, to bring him glory. And I like what you just said. You collaborate, you connect with another creator. That's what this is all about. The connecting point. We connect with others of like-mindedness. Now, I'm not saying connect with anything and anywho.
That's right.
Because some people don't connect for the right reasons. But if your reason is to enhance, to uplift, and doing it for God glory, I say connect. What are you waiting on? Connect.
You know, everybody has a shirt, everybody has a this, but you know what? I'm a firm believer that whatever God has placed in you, what is supposed to come from it will.
That's right.
There's enough money. There's enough ideas there because God is enough.
Yes.
Are enough. So I am doing this, trusting God and going on. And I'm just excited to see what he's going to do. First of all, I watched what he did with my grandmother, who was born with nothing, okay? Born in the house in Stockbridge, Georgia in 1928. Family farmed. They came to Atlanta that January because they almost starved that past Christmas. And she talked about how a lady down the road had pity on them and sent her mother some food for them that Christmas. And my grandmother never forgot that. She would feed you, buy you a coat. She bought girls dresses and shoes for graduation. I mean, just the cards and things that people are telling me that my grandmother did for them.
You didn't even know it.
No, One lady said her child had died, and my grandmother went to the insurance company and paid up the policy so that they would pay so she could bury her daughter.
Well, see, that's what the word talks about, giving secret. And God will reward you. Well, see, we got too many people, especially in this social media world, who want to give out in the open. Well, guess what? You have received your reward. But those who give in secret, watch what God does.
I was floored. I just sat there like, are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
And they said so many times, your grandmother on her way to work has stopped and paid bills for folk.
Look at that.
And given in faith.
And on a fixed income herself. Let's talk about that.
And lost her husband tragically in 1955 while she was pregnant. I mean, and to go on and still have joy and always be able to speak life into someone else. I'm just grateful. I was like, thank you, Lord, for letting me be born in her life.
She was here. That's it.
And that my children got to grow up with her. She lived with us for 7 years. And so what a blessing for my 3 boys to have gotten that kind of love and teaching.
Mm-hmm.
She was always teaching them something. She said, well, I'll be dead and gone on, but one day you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I thank her. I thank her for all of these life lessons and just this.
Just that. And you know, you and I have been through a similar experience. My grandmother passed at 95 during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, it was very similar because they just slept on.
That's what she just
in
slept
peace. On. And to know, you know, like you say, things about them after they're gone that you're like, oh my God, I come from a great lineage.
And strength.
Yeah, and strength.
The strength that they had and how you could talk to them about anything.
Anything. And they wouldn't be all like looking at you like, child, you this and you that. They didn't judge.
They didn't. And my grandmother, you know, said to me, she would always say, you can't do wrong and get by. Mm-hmm. Only what you do for Christ will last. Mm-hmm. She was big on that. And you got to do the right thing.
That's right. And do people right. Let me tell you something, Zip. I am a firm believer. My grandmother used to say all the time, treat other folk right and treat their children right, because your children got to come up and they're going to need somebody. Now, let me tell you something. That I often talk about this. I love people. I do. And there have been moments I've had to cut people off, not because I didn't love them. It's because I saw them mistreating other folk. If I'm around anybody that I notice or God lets me see you have mistreated somebody, not once, but you over and over, I will. That's one thing, that's a pet peeve of mine. I cannot connect, or I cannot be around somebody that's going to mistreat other people.
But it takes courage to do the right thing.
Yes.
It's so important that we operate in our boldness to stand for what is right. And these women that we were born through,
yes,
they stood for righteousness. And I'm not talking about just in their talk.
That's right.
They walked this and lived it. And there is no doubt in my mind that when my grandmother took her last breath, I know if anybody made it, surely she did.
She made it, baby.
You can't tell me otherwise, because her seeds that she planted. I'm just so thankful.
And look, they're not finished popping up. And guess what? We all benefiting from her seed. We're all benefiting from my grandmother's seed. We're beneficiaries.
Beneficiaries.
Do you hear me? Oh, Lord. Zil, we go.
That's gotta preach right there.
Oh, God. We are. And I am so thankful. I said, you know what, God, you couldn't have put me in a better place in a better time.
For such a time as this.
For such a time as this. And so I am, like you, I am most thankful for the seeds that were planted in me, that I know I must plant in others, because I want to see not just me and mine, I want to see everybody be the best that they can be.
And be their best self.
Be who you created to be here in this earth. Don't try to be like anybody else. Just like Zip just said, it's millions of people who making t-shirts. But listen, it's millions of people that do what I do, but guess what? Not one person is designed to do what I'm supposed to do.
And
I'm the only one.
Operate in our gifts, because
that's right.
We create faulty blessings.
Yes.
And nothing about my God and anything that he touches and blesses will be faulty. It won't have any loopholes, leaks, nothing. It will work how it's supposed to work.
That's right. You don't have to manipulate. You don't have to do all that now. You don't have to hurt people to get what you want. Huh?
I said we could just take up an offering. The doors of the church.
You don't have to do it. And Zip, listen here. I know we gone over our time, but I'm seeing so many things. I'm seeing people just do people any kind of way to get ahead. Stop it.
You don't have to.
You don't have to do that. You have something that nobody else has.
But part of that comes from when we get our healing, though.
Yeah.
When we actually stop and see like the true love, first of all, the love that God has for us, once we realize who we are, then we can stop and start operating in our lane and what we're supposed to do and how we're supposed to pour into others and serve. But that comes with some different type of maturity now. And some of our
you gotta reach in.
They're not there yet. And this takes work.
Yeah, it takes work.
Van Zant, people can say what they want to say about her, but I love her because she always talks about, beloved, you have to do the work.
You got to do it. That's right.
This is work. Being a creator is work. None of this has come easy. None of this. You've travailed for years to get to the connecting point with Dr. Marcy.
Oh, Lord, you know, don't you?
Yes.
I mean, but when people look at things, they look like, they're doing this and that. Honey, in order to operate in it, there is work, and it's always work to do.
It's a birthing.
And I have to sometimes pull myself up by the bootstraps when I don't feel like doing this or typing this or sometimes I don't even feel like thinking, to be honest with you. I want a break from thinking.
We're constantly thinking. I have to turn my brain off at night.
Yes.
Like, okay, go to bed, rest, because I'm constantly like, oh, well, tomorrow I'm going to do this. Tomorrow I'm going to do that. Next week and sometimes God just wants us to be in the right now and celebrate and be thankful for what we have in this moment. So I am grateful for you inviting me on here to do this.
Oh,
this
honey.
is me, just like every time I see you in the driveway.
I love you. You know I love you, honey. I love Alonzo. Alonzo is my brother in more ways than one, too. So, I love y'all. And I'm going to ask you to do something impromptu. I know I can tell you. I need you to give us a song, a verse, or something that can bring some healing to somebody this morning. Just give me something Granny like to sing, anything.
Me?
You go.
Oh Lord.
Just anything, honey.
Oh well. You put me on the spot.
I know I did. I'm not sorry.
Okay. All right. Well, the teacher in me would say, hold up, let me play a song for you that I wrote, but I'm gonna do what you asked me to do. I'm going Acapulco.
That's it, Acapulco.
Yes. All right. Well, I got a crown up in that kingdom. Ain't that good news?
Yeah.
I got a crown up in that kingdom, and that good news. I'm gonna lay down this old world. I'm gonna shoulder up my cross. I'm gonna take it home to my Jesus. And
That
good
good
news.
news. Amen. Amen. It's good news. This is good news, y'all. Yes, ma'am. Now, zip-de-doo. Tell these folks how they can get this sea mouse, because they're going to stop worrying me about it now. And these beautiful healing words on t-shirts and other items.
Okay. So if you are interested in getting sea moss, you have to be local in the surrounding Atlanta area because I do not ship. But if you want to get in touch with me for sea moss, it's at www.ztox Herbal Cleanse. That's ZTOX Herbal HERBAL Cleanse CLEANSE.com. That's ztoxherbalcleanse.com. If you're interested in these shirts, that is at granny speaks.bigcartel, CARTEL.com. Okay, send me a request on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram, Zipporah G. Taylor, okay? And I would love to hook you up with any of these items. I do ship the shirts, or if you're in the area, we can meet up, all right? So thank you, Marcy. Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, honey, I have enjoyed this. This has been healing to me. You know, that's what conversations should do.
That's
When
what
you
they
get with other creators and other people who are like-minded, they should lift your spirits up as well. Thus, the connecting point. We're gonna, if you, like I say every week, if you want to be a part of this platform, listen, reach out to me at integrativeartscreations.com or integrativearts@att.net or Twitter, Arts Integrate, or Instagram, Integrative Arts. And we also have a private group of connectors, like-minded creators, called the Connecting Point Group for Creators, of which Zip is a part of, myself, and so many others. And all we do is we just, if you need some collaboration, some networking going on, you want to share what you're doing with a community of creators, there's a little inspiration, try to drop in there every day, whether it's a song or just some words that can lift us up before we go out for the day. That's what you will find there. So look us up on Facebook. We would love to have you because, like I say all the time, iron sharpens iron.
That is so true.
Yes. Zip, I love you, girl.
You too, honey. Thank you.
And kiss the boys for me, and look, and tell Alonzo I love him too.
I will. They've gone to South Georgia for the day. So.
Oh, Lord. Enjoy yourself, girl. All right, out there, peace and blessings until we have this opportunity again. Bye-bye.
Bye.